off against Jesse, but got injured at the Midlands. Took an injury loss and going for the 5th place position there at that tournament. Henry Porter's would have been a tough matchup, for sure. Jesse's looking for the best competition. But Lucas Peters comes in as a redshirt freshman, 12-7, 22-12 over, his career at Indiana. Jesse Mendez is seeking his 92nd win. And he is also the number 2 overall pound-for-pound wrestler in collegiate wrestling right now.
And the leadership that Hannah was talking about, what he means to the room, cannot be overstated. We just watched Ben Davino, a redshirt freshman who's been watching Mendez go about his business for the last 2 years. And you can really see the impact that he has on the rest of the guys in the room.
Well, for Lucas Peters, he gets to see Henry Porter on a daily basis and work out with a number 24 ranked, 141 pounder. So that's definitely a good partner. It's just not Jesse Mendez.
Mendez looking to finish off a takedown here. He and Peters wrestled last year, not quite a year ago. And Mendez got the tech fall, 19-3 in the second period. This is one of only 2. I said 1 when they made the change. Peters actually has a head-to-head matchup, so there are only 2 matchups today through this whole duel where the wrestlers have faced each other at any point in their collegiate career. Just a freight train takedown there. Wasn't even a double, just a throw-by into a takedown for Mendez. Gets that score. In on a shot. Backs out of it.
Yeah, it's 13 different lineup changes from a year ago. Because even the other matchup that we'll say I don't believe was a dual meet matchup. But sheer strength right there, buddy.
You're talking about Big Brother right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of takedown is just Big Brother in the dining room over the holidays going to work. And now Mendez goes to work on top with a bar tilt. Full complement of 4 back points. Once the referee awards those points, that'll put him up 11. Still has that arm bar. Lost the lock on it. Arm bars, bar half.
Mendez.
Another turn here. You see the influence of Logan Stieber right there on Jesse Mendez. Not sure how many swipes the referee gave him there, but it's enough. It's the full 4, and that is enough for a tech fall. 17-2. Jesse Mendez putting on a show in front of this home crowd. He loves to wrestle in front of the Buckeye faithful, and he makes short work of an opponent here today, tech falling Lucas Peters in the first period.
They've already wrestled Iowa. I mean, it was a 27-12 match, too. I mean, it wasn't a barn burner. It was a beat-up situation for the Buckeyes over the Hawkeyes.
I think that's probably where they put the country on notice that Ohio State is not playing around this year. So to 165 we go. Ethan Birden against Tyler Lillard. Both of these wrestlers did their high school wrestling in Ohio. Lillard at Aurora was the state champion. And Birden at Dublin. Kaufman stood atop the podium at the Schottenstein Center just down the road several times for the Shamrocks of Dublin. Kaufman. And he'll go in there today. As you said, Patty Gallagher has been the starter most of this year, but for Ohio State, and it's really strange to think this about the number 2 team in the country. There are still 3 weight classes where there are some questions about who is going to be the guy when it comes time for the Big Ten tournament. It seems like Nick Bazakis, as we talked about early, has been getting most of the action here lately at 125 pounds. Here at 165, Patty Gallagher has been the man for most of the season, but Ethan Birden is applying some pressure, and the coaches are getting a look at him today against some pretty high-level competition.
Yeah, no question.
This got a finger in the eye there.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where, iron sharpens iron. They get to wrestle each other every day in practice, and people they don't understand that. They just don't understand wrestling. You have not only are you sandwiched in between great wrestlers, but you also have a couple at your own weight class.
Absolutely.
Trying to steal your job.
Yeah, nobody wants to not be the starter, right? This is not a sport where being number 2 is on anybody's list of things to do.
You talk about recruiting your state like Indiana's trying to do. you have Ethan Birden from Dublin, and you got Patty from St. Ed's, and certainly done a great job of getting the best out of the state here.
Birden shooting him off the mat, and Lillard will be hit with a stall warning. Burden, because he has not been the starter for the Buckeyes, is unranked. You can look around at different places. WrestleStat, a website that puts together a lot of statistical information, likes him as a low to mid-20s ranking were he a starter.
Well, he's won 9 out of his last 11 matches. I mean, he's a little bit on a roll right now, finding his way into this lineup.
Well, and you talked about Lowry coming into that match at 157 pounds. His run through the Midlands certainly boosted his confidence. That could be the same for Birden coming off a championship.
Tyler Lillard, just Little Rock, number 6 Matty Bianchi, lost 5-2.
Well, Merkel position there for Birden, but he wasn't able to get that leg in and get Lillard extended out. He still has that Merkel lock around the head, but that's not going to do him any good. In fact, Lillard is going to earn the stalemate there. Birden looked like he wanted to roll that through. That definitely would have been points. If you can roll that through, you're probably going to get some back swipes as well, but it didn't work out for him.
1 minute remains, opening period, 1 minute.
Actually, Ethan Birden had to lost to Bianchi himself in that dual meet, 3-10. So these guys, common opponent, recent common opponent. I guess they're in the same neighborhood.
Birden of the Buckeyes, a redshirt freshman from Dublin, Ohio. So far this year, he's
Both guys just trying to find a way past some wrist control here.
They're both built pretty similar. You know, they got these slender, long bodies.
Yep.
And sometimes that takes a second. You know, when you're short and stocky, you know what your style has to be, you know, against another tall guy or some situation. But these guys are built similar.
And it works both ways, right? Because as a lanky wrestler, you're in the minority. You're not used to wrestling other long-legged, long-armed wrestlers where you have to cover more distance than you're used to.
That's a good point, Ryan. I never had the problem of being a long, lanky wrestler
You and me
myself.
both, brother.
I always had the problem of wrestling against those guys.
Right.
It does create an issue, and like you
Yeah,
said,
you're usually the one that they have to solve.
Yeah, you don't see too many tall, lanky wrestlers against each other, and especially, you know, sitting at 165.
Ohio State choice to begin second period. Birden choosing bottom.
Okay.
Looked like we had a momentary confusion about whose choice it was to begin the period. Birden
Sure.
has choice. And so he'll take down. Scoreless after 1 minute. First time we've had a scoreless first period so far today.
Lillard walked away with a W in this meet last year in a major over Brock Herman. One of the few guys to score some of those 12 points.
That's right. 1-0 Birden after that escape to start the second period. Really nothing approaching so far a committed shot. There was a half shot by Lillard, and Birden trying lots of ways to change directions and get behind. And that's going to be enough. That's, I tell you what, really smart wrestling there from Birden. Understanding the situation, knowing where he was on the mat, knowing that there was already a stall warning against Lillard, and just kept that pressure forward and changing directions, forcing Lillard back and back and back, and it earns him a stall point, 2-0.
You talk about IQ wrestling. You know, that's something that Coach Ryan, you're not number 2 in the country without IQ wrestling. You know, you have to teach your guys, you know, when to push that gas button, know where you're at on the mat.
Second period, 1 minute.
Yeah, that's one of the areas of wrestling is match and mat awareness that can be a separator when you're talking about pretty even talent.
What's amazing about this arena is the availability to see the clock.
Yeah, there's
You
that.
know, you have the ability to see score, see clock.
An ankle bundle scramble here. Birden comes out with the high ankle.
Look at
And
the
another
flexibility.
Yeah, that's I pulled a hamstring just watching that. Birden, he's got some options here.
Yeah.
Now with Lillard down on the ground, you probably are not going to get another stall call in this situation.
Wow.
But you just keep the wrestling going there into the full splits for Lillard. And Birden calmly trying to bring that back in while not exposing his own ankles.
I'm not sure which wrestler is showing more patience in that scenario, to be honest with you.
It almost appeared that they were trying to think through the situation. Yeah, that was most guys, Birden, especially with his length, is going to be able to finish right there. But Lillard wrestled it well, also has his own length and the ability, as you were talking about, to go into that full-on split and stretch. Was able to fend that off in a way that not a whole lot of wrestlers would be able to do.
It was pretty amazing.
Still 2-0 as we go to the third period. That was the second time that Birden tried that, essentially kind of a drag into a Merkle position. It's come close. Now Lillard pressing forward. And he's got to, right? Down 2-0 in the third period. He's been warned for stalling twice. He has no choice but to try and take some ground here.
Yeah, down by 1. You can't back up at this point, not with those stall warnings.
And that was it. Listen, it's not going to go into box score, but Birden just doing that half moon circle right there to get his heels away from the out of bounds line, incredibly smart.
Birden is 1-0 against Indiana this year. He did wrestle Chase Leach, redshirt freshman from Indiana, Tech Fall.
Lillard taking some ground there. Underhook, threw it by. Now he's got an elevated single. Now in this position, if you're Birden, you can afford to give up a stall warning or something like that. Even if fleeing the mat would keep you ahead by a point. What you don't want to do is give up a takedown. Out of bounds, foot on the floor, and indeed it will be a stall warning.
Yeah, smart play, as you mentioned, Ryan. It's that's another part of the IQ is what's the lesser of two evils in that scenario. Take the stall warning. It's one thing if it's back in the day and 2 points, but 3 points in this match is everything.
Under 30 seconds to go in the third period. Lillard again on the shot.
It's deep.
Birden, though, flips the script on him, has the elevated ankle and room to work. He doesn't have to work too much because he leads, and now Lillard diving to the ankles, wants to get into a scramble situation. Birden with that leg underneath. Lillard still has it. And now a danger situation for Birden. And time expires before any danger count, and Ethan Birden, stepping in at 165 pounds, up to the task, comes away with a 2-0 victory to keep the Buckeyes perfect on the day.
Heck of a scramble at that end there, I tell you. Ethan Birden showing some real patience in the hometown crowd, Dublin, Ohio.